Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So where I now work, we technically don't have a set number of vacation days. And I think that makes things even trickier because you don't know how many to take off, and there's no number to shoot for. And in a way, I almost feel it's a scam. So I figured out a way to hack the system to make it much more likely that you'll get the days that you want off. My number one tip is when you ask for the time off, you don't ask. You inform them that you're taking whatever day off. And if there's a problem with that, they'll have to say something about it. So, for example, this Thursday we have a lunar eclipse. I don't go, can I take Thursday off to view a lunar eclipse? There's actually two things wrong with that statement. Number one, you're asking. Number two, you're telling what you're doing. And the more you tell about what you're, my second rule is the more you tell about what you're doing, the more likely it is for them to shoot you down, right? The more elaborate you are, the more more likely you're going to run afoul the views of the person you're asking. The more likely you're going to run afoul, you're going to trip on your words, right? So, for example, let's face it, your HR person, your manager, they have their own political views, their religious views, right? Imagine you tell them that you're going to take off to go to a rally of some sort, right? That would be the worst thing you could say, right? Or you're going to take off even something as simple as a relationship with somebody that your manager might have disapproval of could be tricky, right? So you don't say you're going to take off to go on a date. You say you're going to take off to tend to family matters, right? Because it's very vague. You know, my third rule is if you're going to lie about what you're taking off for, don't actually lie. Omit things if you can, right? I'm taking off for a personal matter, for a family matter. And why do I do that? Well, I suck at lying, for one thing. So last Valentine's Day, I took off to go see a girl that I had met online who lived in Houston. Now, instead of saying that I'm going to Houston to see a girl, I said it was a family matter. And in a way, it kind of is, right? It's potential future family, right? But by saying it that way, in my mind, I don't mentally think I'm lying. And so it flows a whole lot better. Imagine instead, let's suppose that my boss, imagine I knew a little bit about my boss, right? He likes whatever event, right? And I looked it up in Houston, there's a so-and-so event. I'm going to trip if I say that's what I'm doing. First of all, I'm not going to know anything about the event. Second, I'm going to trip while I'm saying it because I know I'm lying, right? But by saying that I have a family matter, I don't think I'm lying. I could have probably passed a polygraph exam saying that, right? Similarly, I guess I did tell students in my class that I was going to see a lunar eclipse, but that one I thought I could do because my students are interested in science, right? Had I been working a retail job, I probably would have left that out, right? I'm taking off for a personal issue, right? I'm taking off to, at best, maybe to say that, well, no, I wouldn't do that. A viewing of some sort right now. Maybe not because they'll know it's a lunar eclipse. I made the mistake a few years ago of I called out sick last minute. Back when I wasn't so good at coming up with elaborate things, I called out sick last minute on a lunar eclipse, and I made the whole thing a mess. I was working at a tutoring center. It's probably a lot easier to just to be vague about it. After all, it's not good karma to make a last minute drama at the center. Funny, I suck at lying. Another time I had this was back when I was really cheap and equipment was much more expensive. I had bought a camera to photograph a bunch of stuff and returned it afterwards. I think it was the 2017 solar eclipse. And I was at the store and the cashier outright asked me, how was the eclipse? And I pretended to not know what he was talking about. What? There was an eclipse last Thursday? And so I don't think I could have passed the polygraph test that time. I was so shaken by it. And so, but if you lie in a way that you think you're telling the truth, i.e. by omitting, it flows a whole lot better, right? Another thing you want to avoid doing, and this one I am really guilty of, is I have a tendency to, especially at the workplace, when people treat me in a rotten way, I tend to reciprocate by treating them even better, and I really should stop doing that. Where this really comes to bite me is I'm too eager to be accepted. So sometimes at the workplace, I have colleagues who bully me, and I end up treating them better than the ones who don't bully me. And the problem is that I was teaching at another college, Washington Technology University, back in Seattle. They have since closed. And in large part because of all the toxic colleagues that they had. We had just reopened from COVID-19, and one day I was at a meeting. This was late 2020. And I sat down at the table, and everybody was talking about their personal COVID story. We had a couple new employees too. They were introducing themselves. And I felt completely left out of that conversation because everybody was talking about children, family matters. I wanted to talk about all the new stuff that I had done during the quarantine. I was writing an AI for the game of backgammon. I had moved to Wallace, Idaho. I was hiking there and all that. I didn't get a chance to, and I felt completely left out of that conversation. And so in response, I tried to buy my way into the group. Long story short, helping out my colleagues and all that. It did not go well. And yesterday I was thinking about this because I'm running into one or two colleagues, not the whole group, but one or two colleagues at the community college where I'm now teaching who have not been treating me right. But then I remember 5 years ago what happened when I tried to win somebody's attention. It didn't go well. I just ended up losing more. It's kind of like you ever see a degenerate gambler who's losing at the table and he just puts his life savings on it. I used to behave like that with toxic colleagues, unfortunately. And just like at the casino table, it did not turn very well. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.